Hello, everybody. Lavelle Bridges with London Bridge Group, wanting to elaborate on the 2020 W4 that I posted about earlier. When I first saw this back in January of this year, I posted regarding the possible consequences of the changes and the new withholdings, and just wanted everyone to be aware of all of that, and got maybe 2 or 3 inquiries regarding the W4. We also posted again in spring, and I also posted again in the summer regarding the 2020 W4 and the changes along with the tax table, and got a few more inquiries. Since this past Friday of October 9th up until now, I've received over 20 phone calls and inquiries regarding the W4 and the table for the withholdings. So basically, the W4s are being implemented now. More companies are implementing what has already been determined is going to be your new withholding. And simply put, you are seeing more federal income tax withholding come out of your check than previously or than you ever expected. For example, and I have a chart here, so I'll just read this off to you really quick. So, for example, a single person making $60,000, between $60,000 and $70,000 per year, their annual withholding, this is single, would be $7,890 in federal income tax withholding. If you're making between $60,000 and $80,000 a year, or let's say 70 to 80,000, it will go up to about $8,090 per year for a single person. And you can basically do the math to determine what will be withheld from your each paycheck, because it's going to depend on the frequency of pay, obviously. If you're paid weekly, it's just divided by 52. You paid bi-weekly, divided by 26. If you're paid semi-monthly or twice a month, it's divided by 24. So 60,000 again for single and married filing separate, and up to 80,000. Also, head of household, same table or same income range, 60,000 to 79,000. Your withholdings would be between 10,200. If you go up between 70 and 80,000, it would be 10,780. And again, the same math to determine what would be withheld per paycheck. I'm giving you this information because a couple of things. One, you need to know when and if this change is going to happen. And again, that 2020 W4 is just that, it's 2020. Possibly because of pandemic, possibly because of election and other reasons, it has not been implicated across the board. But make no mistake about it, this 2020 W4 is here for a reason, and it's going to have impact on some of your withholdings. Really that simple. So you want to be prepared and make sure that you're aware that this possibility may happen. There may not be a full-scale 2020 implementation of the W4 until possibly after the election, maybe even the end of the year. I think you'd be concerned, or you need to be concerned, if you have another $100, $200 coming out of your paycheck or per paycheck in December, when you've made plans for Christmas and Black Friday and all of that stuff, and now you don't have that money, or you have withholdings, that are being taken out versus the less of withholdings that was taken out earlier. So the other question, of course, is, well, why did they change it? Why is the implementation of this going on, and who changed the W4 and all of that? What I will say as far as the why, it appears that basically with the reduction in tax withholding from the corporations, that difference in money has to be made up. It's probably the main reason. And what I mean by that is your corporations, or your larger corporations, let's say the Home Depots, the Amazons, the Walmarts, your restaurant chains like Wendy's, or even Wendy's, were paying up to 39.6% per $1 million net income. So basically per million, they were paying $396,000. With the Tax Cuts and Job Act change in the tax schedule, or the tax withholding schedule, or the tax requirement schedule, it was taken from 39.6% down to 21%. So basically, again, if a company had a net income of $1 million, they were paying $396,000, and it's now been reduced to $210,000. That's $186,000 per million that the federal government no longer receives from its corporations. $186,000 per million. That money has to be made up. So if the corporations have a break like that, again, that money has to be made up, so you can no longer, or the government will no longer allow you to file exempt and expect you to pay at the end of the year, or file the 6, 7, 8 dependents and all of that. Someone has to make that difference up. So basically, they're going to have the employers withhold the amounts based on your income on these tax tables to withhold the money from the employee. And this is not party-based, this is not race-based, this is not gender-based. This is what is going on if you are an employee. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Again, in our next segment, we're going to go over the Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts and who benefited and, quite frankly, who did not benefit, or who is terribly impacted by this, because along with the phone calls that I've been receiving this week, there's questions, what happened, and I thought it was this, or I thought it was that, and there's more questions about our taxes going to be raised if this person gets in office versus that person, and things like that. And I think we need to be aware of what's going on right now, because apparently there are a lot of us that are not informed as to what has already happened versus what may or may not happen. So in the meantime, like I said, please check out our next segment with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts and the benefits, and then we will just go over that, and hopefully that'll be helpful to someone. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk with you soon. Thanks so much.